Hello, I am Skullsy, and let's be real, the Francis Ngannou Fury card is coming up tomorrow. Again, I will say this on the video, I'm so excited about this. Family over, friends over, we're going to have a little party. It's going to be a hell of an evening. But let's get to two things in this video. Let's have a look at the rest of the undercard. All right, and also a little bit of talk about the press conference, because I thought the press conference was actually super fun, and you can't go wrong with a John Fury, Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson press conference. So, a couple more fights that I wanted to highlight. I think it's the rest of the undercard. If I've missed anything, I do apologise. But Jack McGann, former MMA fighter, fought in BAMMA. BAMMA was kind of like a Bellator sort of regional group in the UK. He had an alright record. It was 50-50. It was 5-on-5. I'm not going to say that he was an incredible MMA star, because if he was an incredible MMA star, he would have signed for something like one. He would have jumped up to the Bellator elements. He would have even been signed by UFC. He probably would have jumped into Cage Warriors, the UK promotion, but he didn't really do that. But he jumped into boxing, and honestly, within the boxing world, he weren't bad. I've watched a couple of his fights. Okay, in particularly the one where he won the Euro Super welterweight belt, the IBO, and that was the belt that he was holding in the press conference as well. And he's a good little boxer. He's quick. He's got good technique. It will be an interesting fight versus Roberto Duran. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend I know loads about this guy. He's 34 years old. McGann's 30. He's got an 11-3. So for me personally, I think they're still quite. Both of them are quite early fight-wise, in the sense of Duran's had 13, 14 fights, and McGann's had 8. So I think this is going to be a fun little fight. I think Jack will win this fight. From the little bit of research I did last night about this, I think Jack has got this fight. But let's move on. This is exciting stuff. Now, I want to be dead honest with this one. This is exciting stuff. This next person I'm going to talk about makes me feel old. I was born in the 80s, man. Do you know what I'm saying? I grew up with Lewis's. I grew up with the Joe Kawasaki's and stuff like that. But this guy was born in 2004. He's 18 years old. His name's Moses. He has a 5-0 record. And this kid, I really enjoy watching. He has been thrown into the big world quite quickly, I think, in a lot of ways. He was on Joyce versus Zhang 1 and 2. He has a first-round TKO in, I think, his last fight. And this kid, has such a big future, and I personally think he is one to watch. And I think actually the boxing world would agree he's one to watch, because I think Mike Tyson was giving him a little bit of a look yesterday and thinking, this guy is hungry, this guy is going to do some business. All right, versus Ivan Isvan. He's a 6'4" Hungarian lad. He's got 10 wins and 10 wins and 1 loss. Again, don't know amazing amount about it, but the little bit of research last night, he can throw. He's a boxer, as they say in the football world. He's a baller. He's a boxer, and I think it's going to be a fun fight. I'm going with Moses wins this, and I think everybody's going to go with Moses because he's the young gun, the one that looks particularly talented and interesting. Now, the last fight I'm going to talk about before we jump into talking about the press conference is Fabio Wardley versus David. I can never get his name right, so I apologise. Aberlai. And both of these guys, I fucking love. I'm sorry for the French here, but I absolutely love both of these guys. Fabio, man, Ipswich born. Man, he's been on big cards, all right? He's got rankings. He is ranked 15 in IBF. He is ranked 11 in WBA. Versus David, man, London boy. He has been on cards like Fury on Wyatt. And his greatest and best moment for me personally is when, I'm trying to remember it perfectly, he gave a left hook to Dave Preston, all right? And basically that body shot killed the guy. That is going to be a good fight. That's why it's kind of like the second last fight of the night. That is going to be a good fight. That is going to be two Brits going out of it, having a good scrap, and it's going to be fun. Now, I'm going to say this very honestly. Anybody, I'm telling you this now, that criticises this undercard, again, I'm going to lose my shit with. Because this undercard is high quality, high standard, big stakes fights, man. And that is what we're getting from the Saudi event. Not just Fury, Ngannou, we're getting big, decent fights. Carlos Takam, man, Joshua Parker, all right? Do you know what I mean? Fabio Wardley, okay? You've got the big, beastly fights, and they're the ones, okay, we should be looking out for. So that's the undercard, people. Now, I did say at the beginning, we'll talk about the press conference. Now, the press conference was super fun, man. It was super fun. I know you get quite a lot of the boxing crowd that say people like John Fury an embarrassment because of how loud and proud he is of his son. And then you get people that think Mike Tyson is like a blithering idiot. And I think it was good, all right, that these two kind of took a major lead over the coaches, over Bob and Frank and Dev and stuff like that. And do you want to know why? I want to tell you this now. This is a pressure fight. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Fury knows this is a pressure fight. This is like every fight that he fought Deontay Wilder with. This is going to be a pressure fight. Deontay Wilder, hardest puncher in the business. All right, there's no debate about that. All right, would go in there and knock the fook out of people happily. Okay, all right. This is a pressure fight. Ngannou is exactly the same logic. Deontay Wilder, a lot of boxing coaches said he couldn't box. True, he wasn't a great boxer, but he had one hard punch. Okay, same logic with Ngannou. And this is personally, I'm not gonna lie, I want Ngannou to win. I will tell everybody this, but this was because maybe I float a little bit more over to the MMA world. But everybody's thinking Ngannou's gonna do shit. But that's not the point of what we're talking about. So John Fury, Mike Tyson, I want them to actually have a fight. I want them to have a boxing match that changes the business, that fights on a card, like maybe things like Misfits or something like that, because it will be super fun. And John Fury and Mike Tyson, they took a lot of the pressure off Ngannou and Tyson Fury, because this is what needed to happen. We heard Sugar Ray saying this was the hardest training camp that he's ever done. And Sugar Ray is, no debate, the best boxing coach in the biz. Okay, after probably McCracken and people like that, but he is the best boxing coach in the biz. Yeah, and that was controversial. I do think McCracken was a great coach. Okay. And Sugar Ray basically said, yeah, man, we've had to change a lot of things up. We've had to do a full 12-week. We've had to do this, and that. Because we're fighting somebody that's an MMA puncher. He's a big MMA puncher. Okay, so they've taken this so serious. Flipping, and Fury's made it clear every time he spoke that he's had 6-week camps with everybody else. This has been 12 hard weeks, all right? And I don't know what he called himself, but the Black Scorpio, the Black Mamba, whatever, Ngannou, coach, was basically saying, look, 3 months of hard boxing. Now, this is the criticism to Ngannou, but I don't think it's going to make a fucking difference, okay? Ngannou has had to learn to box, okay, in a lot of ways, in a kind of traditional manner, okay? But every single video that I've seen of him, everybody's going, he's slow. It means nothing. It means nothing. Okay, yeah, Fury might get 5 or 6 punches on top of him, whatever, okay? But I think that power, when it's hit, I think it's going to change the game in a lot of ways. But listen to me, all right? What do I know? I'm just some geezer on the internet. But this is going to be a good card. I will be doing one more video tomorrow where I'm going to swing around all my friends and ask them who they think's going to win the Fury and Ngannou fight. You know who I think's going to win it? If he can hit him, it's going to be Ngannou. All right? Massive fan. I've got the t-shirt. But listen to me. Scully out.